Okay, this is the marker float we're going to make. It doesn't look much, but this is a battle scarred one, made from a ping pong ball, cork, got some reflective tape for use at night, but that's been a bit painted over, but that's what we're aiming to make today. So check through the materials we need. We need ping pong ball, wooden barbecue stick, some cotton and a piece of wire, handy to have a sharp knife, scissors, some reflective tape if you're working at night, and some no-nails glue. And we need a wine cork. Unfortunately I haven't got one ready, so we're going to have to pull one out of this bottle here. So just bear with me while I deal with this a second. This is the hardest part of the job, I think, getting the cork. Voila! So there you go. Cheers. Well, that's better. We'll just have another one, I think. Oh, right. Ready? One more. Right. Now we're ready to start. Let's start. Yeah. We're cork. That's what we came in for. Okay, well we start by bending the wire into a nice shape to form an eye. We're going to whip it onto the end of our bamboo skewer. It just helps to flatten off the ends. And we're going to whip that on like that with just a piece of black thread. So we keep a bit for finishing off the whipping. There we go. It doesn't have to be very pretty because you're not going to see it at the end of the day. There we have it, very crudely on. Just like to seal it off with a bit of no-nails. As I say, you're not going to see it, so it doesn't have to be very pretty, and it isn't. Okay, we have the eye on the end of a bamboo skewer. We just push it through the ping pong ball and push it right into the ping pong ball like that. We've got an eye on the end. Now we're going to put the skewer through the cork, but where the cork fits onto ping pong ball, it helps just to carve out a little piece of cork, a little hollow, so it makes a better join. Again, it doesn't have to be pretty because you're not going to see it, and nothing I do is pretty. So there we have it. Bit of hollow in the end of the cork. Shove the skewer through the ping pong ball. Now, a bit more no-nails, a bit more glue. Smear that all around there. Push it onto the ping pong ball. Push the two together and then just make a smooth join. we go, that's the finished article. The only thing that remains to do is cut the wood. But don't cut it yet, because we need to paint it. So let's do the painting. Okay, when everything's dry, simply get a can of black spray paint. You see why I've left it on the stick? Makes it easier to paint. No doubt blobs of paint and stuff like that, unless you're... oh dear, oh dear. And then just leave it to dry. Okay, well, while I'm waiting for that one to dry, we'll come back to this one that's been knocked about a bit, back for repainting. Paint it black and get some reflective tape just to finish it off. You only need to do this if you're going to use it at night, but it's very, very effective. And just put a strip of reflective tape around the top. And that's the finished marker float. As I say, it doesn't look much, but I'll show you how I set it up and use it. So we have the float, got a nice heavy weight that's going to sit on the bottom, and we've got the counterbalance weight. This weight is going to be sufficiently heavy to just cock the float when it hangs in the water. I'll show you what I mean in a minute. And we need some line, and a piece of line very fine so that you can break it easily if needs be, if it gets snagged up. And the length of this piece of line needs to be at least the depth of water you're fishing in, plus a metre or so. So we tie the weight on one end, and then thread the float so it just hangs loose there, and tie the heavy weight at the other end. It's best done without consuming wine beforehand. Okay, so we have the heavy weight running through until we come to the small weight at the end. And all you do to prepare it for casting is to pull the small weight up to the eye and wrap it around the cork stem. Okay, and there's your marker float all made up, ready to be cast out. And you cast it out in a spom or something similar. Okay, so there's the marker float and weights all made up on a line, ready to be cast out. I've only made it 1.5 meters because I'm going to test this in the swimming pool, or demonstrate it in the swimming pool. But normally I fish in about 10 metres of water, so I'd have about 12 metres of line on there. But just for demonstration purposes, I've got a short length. That's ready to go in a spom, something like this. Ignore the weight on the end, the float on the end. I just use that for retrieving it when I get cracked off, which is more often than I wish. And that's it, ready to cast. You just cast the whole thing out up against a line clip, and it sets itself on the bottom, which I'll show you by demonstrating it in the swimming pool.